Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and DJNTV Insiders.
All right, what's going on, everyone? We're back with another DJNTV Summer Shorts tip. I'm DJ Rachel, and by special request, I'm going to be doing a video on loops. And I also realized why I always wear long sleeve shirts in these videos. I am literally as white as my backdrop. Maybe I should get outside more instead of staying inside making all these videos all the time. So anyway, loops, they allow you to select a certain part of a song and repeat that selected section based on the number of beats or counts you want as indicated within your software. That means it will literally keep playing that part of the song over and over and over again until you disengage the loop feature. Now, although this is a very basic skill, it can be very useful and a great way to add a little creativity to your sets, really make for seamless blends, and also is really great for transitions. Now, this is a skill that every DJ should feel comfortable with and master. Specifically today, I'm going to show you a couple of ways that I find loops to be very useful and how I use them. And also I wanted to have a really quick discussion on how to set hot loops in Virtual DJ 8. It's really simple, so let's get started. So the first way that I like to use loops is to give me something to talk over. As a DJ, sometimes we want to fill that awkward silence where we don't want to have a track end and then just start talking on the microphone with nothing playing in the background, because we can lose some of that energy. I like to use this maybe at some more casual events where they want to make an announcement, but again, you just don't want to cut the music. It's great for raffles and of course for our wedding party introductions, to give us something to talk over to keep that energy kind of up. So one of the examples that I can use is Party Rock Anthem. It has a great beat, high energy, it's a simple track to talk over, and I usually like to leave the crescendo part and that first infamous Party Rock Anthem beat drop saved for the VIP couples, the bride and groom, when they finally walk in the room. So to use this track for that purpose, I'll give you a quick example of this. So this track starts out with this kind of splashy cymbal noise, right? Now I would find that annoying constantly hearing that over and over again. So if I were to use this for my wedding party introduction, I would actually advance this track a little bit and set another hot cue where I'm not picking up on that cymbal swishy noise. So right about here, okay? So now every time I hit that, you'll see that it doesn't have that cymbal noise. Okay, so now if I were to use this to talk over for my introductions, and I'd obviously want this looping, I don't want to keep hitting this over and over again myself. Every 8 counts me having to hit this button because I have a lot of other stuff going on. So what I would do beforehand is set my hot cue. Then I'm going to come over to the track in Deck B, simply right click and open up my point of interest editor. Now where I have Q2 already set, I'm simply going to take this from a hot cue and turn it into a saved loop. And now I can also name this, instead of Q2, I could say loop intro beat. And then I'll also give it a color. I usually do my loops in purple so that I know that it's a loop and not a hot cue. And instead of 4 beats, I'm gonna make this an 8-beat loop. So now when I close this out, anytime I come over here and hit this hot cue 2, you see how it engaged the loop function as indicated right here in this loop section. You can also see this shaded part right up here. So that tells me that the loop is engaged. So now it's just going to keep looping over and over again. So a great way to do this, again, I'm doing this on the fly, please pardon me, but it could be something, thank you ladies and gentlemen for joining us this evening. We're so happy that you're able to be a guest part of this special event. We want you to get up on those feet, clap those hands, make a lot of noise as we welcome our VIPs of the evening, Jenna and James. Yay, everyone's cheering now. And then now, the beat drops. Okay, so that is one way that I use the loop function. I usually like to talk over them. All right, so another way I like to use the loop function is to extend a part of a song to help make a cleaner blend or to bring some energy into the mix. So I have two tracks pulled up here. I have It's Tricky on deck A and Shut Up and Dance on deck B. Now I already have my hot loop set, and again, to do that, all I simply did was set a hot cue, right click, and instead of making it a hot cue as here, I've just simply selected saved loop, and then it's going to save it as a loop. And I like this particular section to loop at a 16 beat count. Now I do want to make a little note with hot loops and how they can be awesome, but they can also cause you to make a mistake if you're not careful. Now there is a way in Virtual DJ with the settings to turn off the auto loop jump feature. And pretty much what that means is when you have your loop function engaged, any hot cue that I hit going forward, it's going to have that loop transferred to that hot cue. So you can see that the loop just transferred over. And if I go back to my hot loop 3, there it is. And if I go to my hot cue, that loop has transferred. So if you don't want that loop to transfer, you have to make sure that you're disengaging it. Because as you can see here, if I go to my hot cue, it's not set as a hot loop yet, it's still looping up here. And again, that's because it was looping with the hot loop that I had created right here in number 3. And when I hit hot cue number 4, it just simply bumped that loop over to that hot cue. Now you can turn this off in your settings. As I said, I personally like to leave it on, and I just have to remember to manually disengage the loop function if I don't want it to carry over to that next hot cue point. But I just want to make a note that your hot loops will transfer over to your hot cues if you have it set that way in the settings feature. So now I want to show you how this can again make for a better mix by carrying over some of that energy. So as you can see, it was a great remix point. It carried some of that energy over, and then I slowly faded out the beat as the Shut Up and Dance track kind of picked up the vocals. So this is a great way, again, to blend two tracks together by setting these hot loops. Loops are also great for a cappella tracks. Obviously, with an a cappella track, you've removed the beat and the instrumental part, and you're just getting the vocal sample. And this is an awesome way to really clean up your mixes, because by removing those two other elements, you're just getting the vocal track, and it's easier to mix over a beat. This way it won't sound muddled and busy and have conflicting things going on where there's just too much there and it can sound really messy. However, some acapellas don't have the energy to really keep a mix going. So unless it's an epic song where you know people are going to chant and it gives you that goosebump feeling when it drops, most acapellas aren't going to hold a mix on their own. A great example of this is Mr. Saxo Beat, the one that I have loaded in deck A. Now it's a good song, but on its own, the acapella really isn't enough to keep the energy going. Now, my song on deck B is fire. This is probably one of my favorite tracks to drop, Boricua Anthem, and it has a really iconic beat. I love the energy. So if I'm going to mix in Mr. Saxo Beat into that track, I want to make sure that that energy has carried over. Now, I have noticed that on this particular version, the beat at the end where I probably want to start mixing isn't long enough to carry over the vocal portion here in deck A. So this is where my hot loop is going to come in to make sure that this song keeps looping and looping and looping as I'm mixing in mixer saxo beat. So let's take a look at how having a beat over an acapella can keep the energy up. Okay, so now let me play my song in deck B. So as you can see, it was a great way to get these two tracks blended together without losing that energy, but I couldn't have done that unless I had the looping feature engaged. And as we wrap up here, one of the last tips I have for loops is how to use them to make transition blends. I get asked a lot by DJs how they can go from a song that might be 98 beats per minute up into a track that might be 125 or 130 beats per minute. And loops will absolutely help you achieve this. This can also be a great way for a DJ to switch up the vibe of their set. So let's just say that you were doing a hip hop set for maybe 10 to 15 minutes where your tracks were lingering around the 98 beat per minute and you wanted to get up into something with a little bit more of a dance feel. So this is what I'm going to do for you right here in an example. So I have in deck A, I Just Want to Love You by Jay-Z, which is about 98 beats per minute. And I have a remix of Next Episode by Dre and Snoop that the original tempo is 125 beats per minute. So right now I have these both synced up at 98 beats per minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop the vocal out on deck A, the 98 beat per minute track, and I'm going to start mixing in my song in deck B, which eventually we will end up at 125 beats per minute. But by me looping these vocals, it's going to keep continuity between these two tracks as I transition between a lower beats per minute up into a higher beats per minute. So this is what this would sound like.
Drunk on Chris, mommy on E. Can't keep a little model hands off me. Both in the club, singing off key. And I wish I never met her at all. It gets better, ordered another round. It's about to go down. 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 Smoke weed every day. Da 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 da. It's the one and only Eagle Double G.
All right, so as you see, I was able to get from my 98 beat per minute track in deck A all the way up to my 125 beat per minute song in deck B. And it did it very smoothly and was able to transition me from a hip hop feel to more of a dance track feel. So there are many reasons to use loops. As I always say, you can get as creative as you want with these. These are just some basic ways that I find loops really useful. If you have another tip or trick on how you use loops, or in a situation where you felt that it really elevated your mix, please join the conversation below and let us know how you use loops when mixing, or if you have any other tips and tricks as well. As always, thank you for tuning in to